seeing a lot of shots.
Yeah, I mean, I just said that I'm proud of how we competed and really in both games, and tonight we didn't, like you said, we first half we didn't defend them great in terms of their percentages for shooting the ball, and they're a very good team, so you give them credit. They have Jonah Matthews is one of great career, senior, and he played a very good game as he did the first time we played, and so we did a good job on Okongwu. You told me he kind of pulled the Jake Hyman on us in the first half, so that one was tough. So it put us behind, and then we were chasing. I thought that we just couldn't again make enough shots, and maybe in a key stage. The possession I'll think about is when Graham rolled to the hoop. I think he should have tried to lay it in. We threw it out, and then they went the other way, and I think Matthews drove us and got a three-point play. So kind of a lot changed in that little segment. But again, proud of how we competed overall.
Did you like the shots, or what did you think about just the overall quality of them?
I thought there might have been a fraction of too many threes, but when they have the type of size they have, it's tough to really get good looks around the basket. And I thought Rob had a few quality ones. Remy had a few shots late. He didn't have maybe his best game that we're used to seeing him have on offense. But overall, I wasn't completely disappointed. I mean, I was disappointed through stages of the game, like I usually am, just about every game.
They were up 13 early. Were you worried about after effects from UCLA? And did you think that was evident at all, maybe the first 7 or 8 minutes?
I wish we didn't have a lot of juice, a lot of pop, like early in the game, and so that was slightly disappointing. We once we did start ramping it up with our pressure, I thought that the guys were entrenched in the game from that point on.
What did you think about your overall defense? Just given they shot like 60% in the first half, you did force a lot of turnovers, but they were pretty efficient.
Yeah, I mean they're they have some weapons out there, and then again Utome made some. I think we lost him once, but he had a few contested threes, and so he got them off to a good start shooting the ball, and we had one where we didn't rebound a missed shot, and Jonah Matthews got a wide open three. So the things that we tried to talk about in terms of the rebounding, came back to haunt us. And then I thought we over dribbled into some bad areas in the first half, and our turnovers led to some transition points for USC.
Did you feel like there's times when Murray was trying to do too much, trying to take too big of the offensive look?
I mean, he knew what was at stake and how big the game was, and it's in his DNA to want to put his imprint on the game and take over the game and help us win. And so yeah, I'm not disappointed. I mean, with how he played overall, I mean, he's a warrior. He competed. He gave us everything he had.
When you win 7 in a row as a coach, you're always worried there's going to be a weekend like this. It's the nature of college basketball sometimes.
If you would have asked me about this last year, I would have said all right, well, there's no excuse for this because the league is bad. That's not the case. This is a very, very good league. It's one of the best leagues in the country. It stood up, with how we performed in the non-conference collectively, and to go on the road and play these two teams at this stage, as good as UCLA was playing and what they're playing for. Each of these teams were desperate because they're both right on the bubble. And it meant a lot to them and you could see it by how each team performed. So it's just a testament to how hard it is to win road games, especially in this league.
Is the athletic length of UCLA, USC one of the biggest parts of the challenge for you guys?
Of course,
yeah.
And we had to do things that we didn't really want to do, like double team Okongwu every time he caught it, and we wanted to try and protect Melo and make sure that he didn't get in foul trouble, and so we're doing some things that we don't always do as a team defensively, so then we're put in some unique situations.
Tayshon O'Fee, he limped off like he wasn't going to come back, and obviously he did.
Yeah, I think he just tweaked it a little bit. He didn't. He said to me about a minute after he was sitting that he's good to go and he felt fine. So I don't anticipate any issues. But I thought he gave us a boost. He gave us a nice lift. He's very energized in our defense. He hit a big shot at a big time.
Is it important to not put too much stock in just the outcome of losing 2 here and going into Washington next?
I am not. I told the team after that I was proud of both games and how we attacked both of these games, and we were in a position to win or within striking distance to win tonight. We just, again, our offense put a little too much pressure on us, and we didn't get the contributions we needed at that end of the floor, but our intentions were good, and again, now we have our last two at home, so that's a nice thing.
Was the effectiveness of the press a good building block, you feel like, going forward?
And I just think you got to play to your strengths, and you got to do stuff that you work on in practice. And that's something that we've been pretty effective with most of the year. And it's going to depend on the opponent and matchups and things as we keep going here about how we utilize it and how often we utilize it. I think on this particular trip, it made a lot of sense for us to do it more, especially when we got Anderson with his third foul. Their only real true point guard, and so I thought the kid, and to USC's credit, I mean, Jonah Matthews has been a great player in the league here, Rakocevic, but the kid had a less for that kid, to come in and, he made a couple threes, he defended well, and so as a role player in a game like this, I thought he was pretty impressive what he did.
Both games were similar in that you were down 5 or 6 at the half, kind of clawed back,
Yeah.
get over the hump. Is there a specific adjustment you want to make in the first half or on the comeback trail in the second half?
Again, I mean, I wish our defense performed a little better in both games. We've given up 41 points in each half. We've been way better when we're giving up like low to mid 20s in a half, and I think our offense generated enough points in each half to be in a better position. We didn't defend the way you need to defend on the road to win these kind of games.
You actually got Lonzo attacking the basket more than shooting some of the threes he's taking.
Verge?
Yeah.
No, if he's open and he's got space, then I trust him to shoot it. I know he was 3 for 11, but kind of more of a body of work guy, and his body of work, I think especially the last 10 games speaks for itself. So I think he's entitled to maybe not being at his best offensively, but yeah, I mean, he's got great handle and he can create, so you certainly want him to utilize that.
Appreciate it.